changing, we're flying high, creating a complaint-free world. No more, no more complaining people. Their lives are changing, we're flying high, creating a complaint-free world. No more, no more.
When I was filming the movie Complaint-Free Revolution, which as members of the Complaint-Free Life Inner Circle, you all have access to watch it for free, I flew around the country and up into Canada and interviewed people who had done the Complaint-Free Challenge, were doing the Complaint-Free Challenge, had done the complaint, and they had some good experience as a result of it. And I met this man who lived in electronic devices. That's what I thought. I met this man, and he talked about what he called A.N.T.s, A.N.T.s. And I was reading about that very same concept this morning, and I thought it would be something great for us to talk about. We are a combination of, our behavior is a combination of our attitudes, our actions, our thoughts, and our emotions. Our actions, our thoughts, and our emotions equal our behavior. If we can change our actions, our behavior changes. If we can change our thoughts will change our actions and our emotions, which will change our behavior. If you change any one of these three, then the other two must change. Actions, change what you're doing. Think about it. If you're having an argument with somebody, and if your normal thing is to just stand there and rant until it's over, right? Or until one of you drives the other one out or says something that's just so hurtful. And instead your action is to say, I need to step outside and take a few breaths and I'll come back. That's a different action. That's all that is. But it contributes to then your thoughts, because it gives you a break, so it allows you to work on your thoughts to change, and for your emotions to calm down, because emotions change. Emotions change. Without stimulation, emotions change. So if you change your thoughts, then your behavior will change. If you change your emotions, your behavior will change. Stephen Covey in The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People tells a great story about a man who's on a subway in New York, I think. And there's another man on there, and the other man has 3 young children, and the 3 young children are just running wild on the subway. And his idea in his mind is to tell that man to be more responsible with his children and get his kids under control, etc., etc., etc. And instead, he's able to maintain himself, but he does ask the guy, he's like, could you ask your kids to sit down, etc.? And the man says, as if he comes out of a stupor, he tells him that he has just come back from the hospital with his kids and that their mother has died and that he is going home with them and he doesn't know what to do, and this is how they're reacting, and he just doesn't know how to handle it. Well, Covey could have thought that might be a possibility before he even said something, which would have changed his behavior and his emotions. I've noticed that the happiest people are the people who cut other people the most slack in their own minds. It's not easy to do, but the people who cut other people the least amount of slack, those are the least happy people. So when we were filming the movie, I realize I'm talking in a circle today. When we were filming Complaint-Free Revolution, we were in Depot Bay, Oregon, and which is a really cool place. You need to put that on your bucket list. Depot Bay, Oregon. That's where the gray whales spend about 9 months out of the year. And they're right there, just like I would see a dolphin, there are just these whales. And this man there was telling me about A.N.T.s, A.N.T.s, and I'm sure you've probably heard this before. But if we understand that our behavior is a combination of our actions, thoughts, and emotions, then we can begin to change those things, right? Yes, and There's one other issue, and that is what we call ants, automatic negative thoughts. Automatic negative thoughts. They just happen. They're negative thoughts. They pop through your mind. I was thinking about this morning. Your mind is almost like, because you can be in a really great mood and then you'll have one of those ants come through, an automatic negative thought. And it's like taking a walk through a beautiful forest, but the forest is very dry and there's a lot of ground cover with leaves and straw and everything. And an ant is like one of those people, an automatic negative thought is like somebody with one of those boxes of matches. Remember how as a kid you used to take them and thump them and they would catch on fire and the flame would go like that? I was a delinquent. I don't know about you. Anyway, it's these little things going boom onto your brain. And then you can find yourself going in a direction that you don't want to go. I think the solution is to begin to, whenever we experience a negative thought, a thought that something is wrong, something is missing, is to begin to challenge that thought. Doesn't mean that we necessarily don't come up with the same conclusion. The thing is, we tend to jump on board with these negative thoughts and ride them until we upset ourselves and other people. Human beings have a negativity bias, period, full stop. We are always going to be works in process. That negativity bias is there to protect us. It's why we look at everyone we meet as a potential threat or a potential mate. Threat is the what I'm talking about here. When you see someone, most of us tend to think of them, first of all, are they a threat to me? And that is natural, that's normal. That's an ant, that's an automatic negative thought. It is there to protect you. The thing is, if we endorse it, if we allow it to continue, we're the ones that add fuel to it through our actions, thoughts, and emotions. We can attach an emotion to it, and the emotion will stick in our body, and we'll feel that sadness from the negative thought, or whatever, or anger from the negative thought. I was thinking of something that happened to me, and I'm like, man, this morning, and at first I was like, I'm going to handle it this way, and then I was like, nah, I'm going to handle it like it's absolutely no deal, no issue, let it go. And I did, and I'm pretty sure it's just going to simply resolve itself. So what I did was I changed my action, which changed my behavior, my behavior, which is a combination of my thoughts, emotions, and actions. So I changed that, and then my thoughts and my emotions changed. So these ants are going to come. The ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. Remember that when you were a kid? The little one stopped to shoot a gun, and there you go. Exactly. So the ants go marching one by one. They're going to go through your brain. This idea that at some point you're going to shut them all down is not true. However, I will say this. When you have an ant go through your brain, an automatic negative thought, a reactive negative thought, when it goes through your brain, you have a choice. You can add to it, you can invite with your thoughts, you can anchor to it with your emotions by feeling it, you can even act on it. There's a whole bunch of fish right behind me. It's really beautiful. I love when the sun rises and you can see the ripples on the water. And you can react to it, which is your behavior, your action. All of these things interplay. So the best thing to do is when you have a negative thought is to challenge it. Is that true? Is that true? And often your emotions will go, yes, that's absolutely true. Well, why do you know that to be true? Well, because I feel it's true. No. That's an emotion. It's emotional reasoning. That's not healthy. Why do you think it's true? And begin to argue with it. What you need to do is to never give it a mental inch. When an ant goes through your mind, you don't just let it go through and watch it. This is not a sitting Zen, Zazen thing where you watch the ant go through your mind. When the ant comes in your mind, you stomp it. You challenge it. And the way you challenge it is asking yourself, is it true? Is this true? Is this true? Now, why? Because in the future, you're going to experience fewer ants. If you do this, you're going to experience fewer automatic negative thoughts. Because it's as if those thoughts, instead of being able to strut through the kitchen, your ants coming through the kitchen, right? They know that you're going to try and stomp them whenever they come through, so they scurry. So you're affected less and less and less by them. Know that it is your engagement in your negative thoughts that perpetuates or dismisses them. They're always going to be there. One thing that we've got to be very careful of, that I'm guilty of in the past, is being critical to myself for having the negative thought. Does that make sense? Getting down on myself for having the negative thought. It's challenge your negative thoughts. I even begin to challenge that. Everything I do is okay. Everything I'm doing is the very best I can in the moment. That's what I tell myself when I'm trying to do something. Yesterday I installed a dash cam in my car, and I can install one now in 5 minutes. You know how it is when you do something for the first time. Everything's upside down, you don't understand. And as I was going through it, my father's voice began to loom over me, shouting at me, telling me that I was doing it wrong. And I finally said, I have all day to put this together. I'm doing this because I choose to do this. Other people have done this. There's help on the internet. I started attacking that ant as soon as it came in, that automatic negative thought. It went away. It went away. And my dash cam's working. So, forecast today calls for ants, especially on Mondays. Seems to happen, doesn't it? Negative thoughts, right? Well, challenge them. Is that true? Is that true? Ask yourself, is that true?
No more complaining people. Their lives are changing. We're flying high, creating a complaint-free world. No more complaining people. Their lives are changing.